Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel that is DIY within Gamesy. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another hopefully fabulous, very informative show. Ne? So today I'd basically like to talk to you guys about investment pros and cons, as well as some business tips I've learned over the years. Ne? So we'll basically be flying through my very colorful investment portfolio. The aim of today's show is basically, what is today's aim? It's just a guideline of like some of like the stumbling blocks I've encountered, some prosperity that I've encountered. I will not be mentioning in what capacity I've done what type. That's besides the point. Those are my nudes, but this is just to encourage people who just have a couple of extra cents that just want to invest, for those that maybe have lost their jobs during COVID-19, just as like little friendly tips, just to help you just push in the right direction, especially if you want to start a business. Okay, so I hope you do enjoy. Like I said, I'm not a personal advisor. Yes, that's the big disclaimer. I'm not a personal advisor. I'm just a girly who secures the bag and minds her own business. Okay, but it's not to say that in business you will always fail. There'll always be challenges, but I just like for somebody to learn from my mistakes or the things that I've like encountered. So basically I'll be talking about all the different sectors I've been involved in personally. Some I'm still there, some I've left, and yeah, that's basically it. Not about yet to be pursued, because I don't want to talk about something that I don't necessarily have experience in. So yeah, nice, short and sweet. Like I said, not a personal advisor. Not going to tell you what I do in which capacity. That's my business. But just, yeah, investment portfolio, we're flying in, pros, cons. And yes, if you want to have a conversation with me, comment section or DM or inbox me. Okay, so without further ado, let's start.
I just think money recognizes me. Money is comfortable around me. Money likes me. So money feels when it needs someone to talk to, it'll choose me in the crowd and it'll come and sit next to me.
Okay, so the first thing I'd like to address are banks. So banks, I'd give them like a young 2 out of 10. I don't rate them at all. The only pro I can say is that your money is in a safe place, supposedly. But from there, I don't stand, guys. Low interest rates could be like as little as 3%. For others, the other pros that your funds are like easily or readily available. But sometimes it depends on like what type of savings account or investment account you're on, because others, yes, the funds are readily available, but at the expense of the interest that you've received. The other problem is that sometimes almost always actually they require like a minimum balance, but it's just really a joke. The money is just there for them to loan out to other people and get more money. I cannot call 3% or even 2% return on investment, so I'll give banks a proper 2 out of 10. Not a fan, but hey. Okay, so secondly would be cryptocurrency. Crypto, I'd give like a solid 5 out of 10, just based upon the massive potential for return on investment. There's a lot of cryptocurrencies. I think your Bitcoins, which is the most popular one, Luno, I stand to be corrected, Ethereum or something to that effect. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but there's quite a lot, and then there's a lot that are also popping up on the web now. So solid 5. That's like the greatest pro, as well as increased liquidity, and there's a clear execution direction, if I can put it that way. The cons I have, yeesh, very, very, very volatile, very volatile. Cryptos are considered bubbles. They, like I'm saying, lots of bubbles, lots of busts. It's very volatile. One day you're sitting on 10 grand, tomorrow you're sitting on a rand. So it's like, so I don't know if you're willing to like ride that wave. And as well, like I'm saying with bubble and bust, do you trust yourself enough that you can accurately or successfully determine when a bubble is about to bust or not? So hey, if you're about that gambling life and yeah, you don't like any form of stability, definitely go for cryptos. Very volatile. That's all I have to say. Even for those who feel like banks are a scam and we need like a better institution, then cryptos are for you. They can also be used to like buy very shady things on the dark web or not, such as drugs, maybe organs, guns, if you're part of like a gang. Yeah, so if that's your flow and you're trying to break down the establishment, cryptocurrencies. Next, I'd like to talk about stocks, aka equities, aka shares, JSE, the markets, New York Stock Exchange, the works. So stocks I'd give like a 7 out of 10 in terms of my standability. Stocks can give you good returns even in a short space of time, which is what I like. And there's a lot of portfolio flexibility, so you can find yourself putting your money in multiple sectors or industries. That's why they talk about like diversification a lot. Like, don't put all your eggs in one bundle. So you can maybe put 2 rand in health, 5 rand in like mining, 10 rand in like housing, etc., etc., so that maybe if like the one basket is not doing all that well, then the others can just pick you up, type of situation. The one big thing I do not like about stocks, or personally I feel, is that you have to like follow them and read a lot, and I do not have the time for that, trust me. So that's like the one thing I don't like following them, making sure am I buying properly, am I, yeah, that's, I think if you're a gambler, stocks are your friend. For a doom, just like, that's like the greatest downfall. I'm not willing to like follow them like rigorously. I'll be within like here and there, but no. Also, and as much as you can win big, you can also lose big. So also be careful where you basically take your money, as well as maybe not putting too much money in a stock type of thing. And then stocks, just like cryptos, can be very volatile. Like they might be dependent on the time of year. It might also depend on what's happening within the company. Maybe certain decisions are popular with certain shareholders, others are not. Sometimes even stupid things like having a very eccentric, very crazy CEO, or if it's like a family-run corporation or business, whatever's happening in the family could potentially affect the rest of the company, i.e. your money, you see. So stocks in that regard, that volatility, it's not as much as cryptos, but it's also there, you know. So my personal take on the matter is that don't invest too much in stocks, or don't invest all your money in a particular stock, because now look at what happened with Cecil. One day, hey, you're a millionaire, the next thing, you're a thousandaire, type of situation. So yeah, all up to you. Like I'm saying, I'm just giving you tea. Next up is land and buildings, or housing, or rentals, whatever you want to call it. I'll go with land and buildings. I'd give it like a maybe 8.5 out of 10 for sustainability. Good return on investment, steady form of income, decent profits, lifetime profits, appreciating assets. Ne? That's what I like about property. In terms of the cons, properties can be very expensive to acquire. You need to also decide for yourself, like, okay, if I have like a property or a land, what am I going to do with it? Like, how am I going to profit out of it? Am I going to build a commercial property? Am I going to rent it out to like tenants? Am I going to, yeah, make the land viable for other uses such as agriculture? And then also, how, you know how they always tell you it's all about location, eh? Like, for example, it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna get a house and then I'm gonna rent it out. Like, even in South Africa, it's not always conducive like everywhere. I've heard like stories where places like Port Elizabeth or East London, I speak under correction, ladies and gentlemen, renting is not that high up on the list as opposed to like maybe a Bloemfontein or Pretoria or a Johannesburg. Do you understand what I'm saying? So even when buying property or choosing a property, like, be very careful in terms of, is it marketable? Is it safe for somebody to live? Is the environment of the city or the town? Can you actually like rent a property? Will someone actually want to rent your property as well? Oh, and there's a lot of T's and C's, like even getting a title deed, one biggest nightmare. A lot of paperwork, a lot of, you know. Oh, and as well, like even finessing people so that you get like good value for money in terms of either the land or the actual property that you are buying them. So buying property or land, very slow, very tedious. You may need to get lawyers involved. Even tenants, guys, it's not like as easy as everyone makes it out to be, because one, getting good tenants is like a blessing in disguise. But also people actually sleep on, like, everyone's so quick to be like, oh, renting or having property slaps. But thing is, you need to pay for that maintenance or that upkeep. So in as much as you'll be like, oh, I'm gonna get like 100K from this property every year easily, no questions asked, you still have to like keep up the building and the property in J, you know. So sometimes it's easier said than done. Like, yeah, people just want to act like once you have a property, like all is said than done. Tenants sometimes can really like show you flames. Sometimes maybe you'll be stuck with like a tenant who can be like, oh, I can't afford, and you can't exactly kick them out, type of thing. But it's like all those like legal wranglings. I'd suggest maybe get like a lawyer, if I can put it that way, because sometimes you'll find yourself in a sticky situation, especially as a property owner. Nah? So yes, that's I think what I have to talk about in terms of property. So rates and taxes, maintaining your asset, and yeah, getting your value for money, as well as good tenants or general upkeep, keeping everybody happy, as well as making sure that you get like a nice income from the situation. So that's what I have to say. Next up is agriculture. So agriculture, I'm basically talking about animals and plants and animals. Yes. Sustainability, 8. I'll stand a good 8. Cons, good return on investment, and very calming, very relaxing. There's like lots to learn every day. It's like a new story, so it's very exciting, especially if maybe that wasn't your initial background. Yeah, so that's what I like about agriculture. Cons, can be very expensive, especially equipment and supplies. If you do not have green hands, leave it alone. You have to get in there. Man, you know, also like yeah, it's complex. You need to like get be cognizant of everything. So if you're not like a very organized person, you may find it challenging. Like I think like making sure your animals get shots on time and your plants get I don't know, nitrates or whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like making sure everything is there on time. It's it. The other con is it's very susceptible to like external factors like weather and droughts and oil prices and viruses and infections. And there's so many stories. How do you maintain your agricultural interests? Make sure everything is safe. You know, making sure you know of all the little hohakis, your insects and your parasites that may harm your plants as well as your animals, and all those stories. So very complex, but also equally worth it. But if you do not have green hands, yeka. If you do not like getting down and dirty, it's not for you. Also trying to figure out, depending where you are in this entire situation, how to get your products onto people's plates at the end of the day. You know, for others it may be a racial experience. As you can I think you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. But that's what I have to say about agriculture. Next, I'd like to talk about food, an underrated queen. Food is like me, guys. Underrated, but slaps so hard. Sustainability, I'll give a 9 out of 10. I stand food. Underrated. Again, good return on investment, very solid, very steady for the most part. Because even technically in COVID, you could still kind of sort of function. Everybody needs food every day, so you can't help but stand. What are the cons for food? Hygiene, making sure that everything, depending where you are in the food chain, is up to regulatory standards. Your food better slap. There's lots of competition, so how do you make sure that you separate yourself from the rest, be it price wise, be it content wise, you know, be it location wise? So there's just a lot with food. Also either being a good supplier or getting good suppliers, you know. So slaps, volatile, quick buck, can fail or can succeed. It really just depends on you or whatever idea you have. But food, everybody eats every day. So okay, ladies and gentlemen, up next is media. I'd give it a 4 out of 10 for sustainability, because I'm still like it's a mind if, honestly. The biggest pro, I'd say, you really get to interact and meet with a lot of really cool people, very vibey, very artsy fartsy people. The cons, this money factor, I'm still okay, let's leave it. But cons, dealing with there's lots of red tape, there's lots of legislation and authorities that you need to like weasel around. Dealing with advertisers, like getting people to advertise on your platform or whatever, and keeping them happy. It's like I struggle to believe that anybody who's not part of like a huge media house gets income, because with even these advertisers, that's what I'm saying, that everything can be bought. Even our media can be bought, guys, because sometimes for the sake of advertising and generating income, an advertiser may demand you to either cut certain stories, exclude certain stories, address certain stories. So for the sake of keeping this wheel going and whatever, you may have to compromise on your standards. So if you're not about that life, media is not for you. It's a very iffy, very shady industry, but also very fun industry, depending on how you see it. But yeah, that's what I have to say about media. But also, like I said, it depends what you want to do in media. But there's a lot of monopoly there. So yeah, try and break in and tell us how it goes. But I'll give it like a 4. Very iffy sector. Next, we have health and beauty. Pros. No, let's start with the cons. Hey, you girlies can be difficult. Difficult girlies. You guys know too much. You guys are just a lot. So yeah. And then, okay, good percentage of profits can be earned depending what your markup is. So for sustainability, I'll give it Shem a fair 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's just dealing with customers. If you're not like a salesperson, or you don't have like the patience of, I could say, Job from the Bible, don't do it. What are the cons? Very competitive. There's a lot of products flying on the market. There's a lot of services flying on the market. So how do you separate yourself again? Getting good suppliers, or being a good supplier, making sure that your product gets to as many houses or cosmetic bags as humanly possible. So that is your aim. How do you do that in terms of social media, word of mouth, etc., etc., etc.? So but the nice thing is, the longer you stick with it, you can create like a loyal customer base that can refer a friend, who can refer a friend, who can refer a friend, and so on and so forth. But hey, you girlies can be difficult. So health and beauty, a good 6, but it's created platforms and money for a lot of people, so maybe 6.5. But yeah, dealing with customers, if you're not a fan, this one's not for you. Yeah. Next up is logistics. Nightmare. Nightmare. I don't know how people do it. Sustainability, 5, if not 4, if not 3. Okay, let me be nice. 4.5. Fuel prices, exchange rates, heists on our roads. It's a nightmare. I'm not deterring anybody, but it's like a nightmare. Yes, and you're dealing with like very valuable goods that cost a lot of money. You need to be fast, you need to be efficient, you need to get things to their destinations on time, manage costs, in addition to a lot of external factors. So, hey, I don't know how people do it. And at the time, every second black person had a logistics company. Do you, baby? Nightmare. I don't know how people do it, but 4.5. Yeah. Healthcare, my bread and butter. Honestly, I have absolutely nothing nice to say about health. I have nothing nice to say. I'll give it a 5, only because between high startup costs, depending in which profession you're in, medical legal issues, patients suing you, uh, dealing with medical aids, that in and of itself should actually a good 1. But it's a lot. Also, patients are basically just like customers, and you have to deal with people's stories. And I don't want to throw my healthcare workers under the bus, but we know what we know. So I really have absolutely nothing nice to say about health or the healthcare system. I have absolutely nothing to say. But we'll talk about this internally as health people, but nothing nice to say. Yeah. Oh, I'm almost at the end, but more than anything, guys, whoever's watching, I hope you find your light. The things I've spoken about are the things I've been there, done that, gotten the t-shirt. But there's so many industries, digital industries like e-commerce. There's our normal industries, agriculture, extraction of raw materials, commerce, communications, hospitality and tourism. And there's so many places where you can find your own light, so many places you can start your businesses, start your careers, or start investing. Today was basically about investment, pros and cons, as well as business pros and cons. Like I said, I didn't want to discuss in what capacity I've done things, because I personally feel like everyone has their own path, so today for me was just a hey, heads up, don't say you haven't heard this before from somebody. It's not the greatest of plugs, because, and I was avoiding that because the information that maybe you've extracted to me might not work in your particular instance, whatever that instance may be. But I hope you learned something, that even if you try and get into like a new industry, you have like a rough idea of where you stand and what you've sort of heard, so like you don't get there with like 2 eyes closed. So I hope in that regard I have helped. In terms of business, I could say business and investment, I'd say my best advice would be a lifetime student. It sounds really corny, but be a lifetime student. Always be willing to learn and try new things. a great start for those who are like, I want to start like a second source of income, if not a third. Really sit down with yourself and be like, try and figure out what you are good at, what your strengths are, and then try and find an industry or yeah, something that can generate income that aligns with what you're really good at and what you genuinely like. I just like making money, and I feel like I'm a jack of all trades. So hence you'll find me constantly. If I'm not here, I'm there. If I'm not there, I'm here. I'm constantly. I love learning new things. I like exploring, and I don't mind failing. It's the extent of the failure that is the situation, but we always grow from our mistakes. Trust me, I've had some losses, but I've also had a lot of great wins. So yeah, find what you're good at. Also the power of partnerships, guys. No man is an island. Sometimes work with people, find people you can collaborate with, in a personal as well as a investment or business. Like explore. It's just like Mjolo, guys. Find people that you can align yourself with, that can grow you and grow whatever your ultimate goal is. But more than anything, I wish for everybody to have a second, third, if not more, sources of income, so that even if you find yourself in trouble, something, you'll always have a piece of bread on your table. You'll always be able to buy that little cute handbag or help at home or whatever your needs are. Okay, so I really hope you learned something. I'd like to give you the courage to try out new businesses and challenge yourself, guys, because you'll never know unless you actually try. There were things that I've explored where I've had naysayers in my ears, or even self-doubt. I'm just like, could I pull this off? And now it's like things are like coming so naturally. I'm just like, oh wow, I can't believe I even doubted myself in the first place. But you need to grow. So I hope that you come out of your shell. I hope that you also realize that you don't need a lot of money to invest. Really, 5 rand on the JSE could, I don't know, make you a millionaire or something. It sounds stupid, but hey, so don't be like, oh, I need like lots of money or lots of capital to make my dreams come true. Don't necessarily always look for funding with banks. There's human beings. Look for role models in your community. As well, there's a video you guys keep watching that I have down there about how to make money in South Africa. What can the quality is very rubbish. Please stop watching it. I'll try and redo it. If you want me to expand on anything in terms of finances, I'm more than willing. Like I said, guys, I'm not a personal advisor. I don't have any financial qualification, but I'm in my bag. I'm in my bag. Get in there on a spiritual level, trust me. So I will not hesitate to help or to talk to you, or you talk to me, guys, at the end of the day. So that's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Stay cute, stay beautiful. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having you guys. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope you enjoy my content. To my old subscribers, to the people who watch a gazillion times, thank you. It means the world to me. And I hope you take all the advice that I give you on this channel and just be great, man. Just be great. So from me to you,